Okay, good evening and welcome to the show. Welcome to Miles More Motivation. Tonight is a very different sort of episode. Tonight is where I basically get one of my clients to shamelessly plug why you should join my coaching program. So welcome to the show, Donna McGrath.
Hello, Miles More Motivation. Yeah, really good, really good. Just had a session with you, so I'm ready to go.
We've literally just had a coaching session, so I know exactly how Donna is. So the purpose, for those of you that are watching, the purpose of this is, I do believe, and being very honest, the purpose of this is to give people an idea of my coaching, specifically coaching in general, why they should consider having a coach. So the reason I brought Donna on today, Donna's been a client now of mine for about 6 months. And what I wanted to do is kind of get her to share with you some of the results that she's got as a result of being in the program, and really just tell you kind of basically what coaching is all about, like what coaching with me is about, and maybe even sort of talk about like why you should consider joining the program. So Donna, just kind of start out by telling people like who you are and what you do, please.
Okay, so my name is Donna McGrath. Well, actually, I go by Donna McGrath. That's my maiden name. I'm married to Damien Grote. I don't take his surname because people know me in my sector with my maiden name, so I kept that. So what I do is I'm actually a coach myself, but I coach lawyers specifically to help them make that career move that they want to make in order to become really, really successful. And I joined Miles's coaching program simply because I've been following Miles for a very long time. He didn't know that I've been stalking him. And I never really had been brave enough to really reach out and talk about what he was doing specifically, but I really enjoyed the way that he engages, you engage with the public, and how straightforward you are, and how you just talk about real issues, which I identified with. And secondly, because I'm a coach, I think it would also be really hypocritical of me to try to sell something to a market where I didn't believe in that myself or have that myself. And I know, Miles, you have your own coach as well. So it all trickles down. And that's the main reason why I have joined Miles's program.
Thank you. That's a really interesting point there, because for you said in your words, forgive me for not getting exact wording, but you went, I am a coach, so I need a coach. Saying it as it is, I know a lot of people, I'm sure you do, who are coaches, and I'll be fully transparent and say I've at one point been one who was selling Kool-Aid coaching and not drinking it. Why did you make the decision, or why have you had a long-standing decision, that if you're going to coach, you need to have a coach? Why are you different? Why do you think like that?
Well, because I know the value in coaching, and I can see it, and I do think that the market is quite competitive as well. But I think the key thing is that the coaching brings you that independent third party, if you like, to help you to get yourself into the right state of mind, because we're all human. We're all like coaches. We're all human, and I've seen people say to me, "But you're a coach. How can you say things like that? But you're a coach." I'm like, "Well, hold on a second. Give me a break. I'm human." Yeah. And I recognize that as much as I'm a coach, it's not as easy to self-coach yourself. And I personally suffer from an old trauma and stress and anxiety. And I do have support from a kind of a more mental health perspective on that. But what I needed help with is to help me to understand my own value, and not to get myself in that space of allowing myself to sit in a state for a very long time. And that's one thing that I will say that I got from you, Miles, was it was an awakening for me. about learning about your state, because if you don't, as you said, if you don't change your state, how on God's earth are you ever going to change anything else? And you brought that to my attention. And what it's actually done is actually help me in my coaching of other people as well. And, you know, you bring that level of kind of safeguarding as well around what I'm doing. And I think every responsible coach needs to have that, to make sure that they're going in the right direction with their own clients, as well as their own direction themselves, to make sure they're actually delivering something that's greater than them. Because as we've just talked, I have been focusing on myself. I was like really worried what someone might think about having a bloody Hoover in the background while I'm doing a video. And you said, but Donna, it isn't about you. It isn't about, well, you didn't say it in that way, but this is the way I've taken it. And I think this is so true, that it isn't about me and it isn't about what's in the background. It's about what I can offer bigger than myself.
It's about what's in the foreground, right?
Yeah. It was about,
which is you.
Yeah. And it's about that. And really, you've just made me get off my ass and just do things that I probably would have never have done if I didn't have you.
Good.
And that's God's honest truth.
Love it. So what made you invest in coaching in the first place? What was, if you're really honest and if you're willing to be vulnerable now for a moment, what was maybe not working quite as well as you would like that made you decide you wanted to enroll in coaching? What was not working as well as you would like?
Well, this is something that's probably been true for me for all my life. And it's funny, whenever you actually, I've obviously learned how to coach and I know the process and I understand these things and I'm starting to coach other people. And whenever you're in that gear, you move up a gear and you start to become even more self-aware of things and how they actually affect you. Unless you get it handled, you're never really going to progress. And for me, all my whole life, I used to ruminate a lot. And funny, I said, my sister, she's a mental health nurse. And I was talking to her about rumination. And she's like, yeah, that's what we do, us McGraths. We ruminate. We sit and worry. And we sit in it for a very long time, to the stage where it's like inaction is inevitable. And for me, someone who's just literally started my own business, and something that I really, really am passionate about, I know my energy can go up and down quite a lot. And I decided I looked at the different ways that I could get help on that. So, you know, I used to work in Holland and Barrett, and I kind of knew all of these vitamins and etc. And I know my sister's a mental health nurse and blah, 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 blah. But that can only go so far. And the reason why, because I could see the value in coaching what I was doing for other people. And I just thought, I need the same. And I actually didn't really, I'm going to be really honest. And what really hit me was, I was on Facebook, Miles, I made a comment on one of your posts. And you said to me, right, McGrath, we need to have a chat. And it was in that first chat that I realised how much value having Miles on my side is. Oh. And I could see that in the first session. And also I think what was really good for me was that I think we have a really good energy connection. Yeah. And that was really, really important for me, because I think you need to have a coach that inspires you as well as not alone, and that makes you kind of work these things out for yourself, which you've done. But if I'm very much of the mindset, if I don't have people around me that inspire me, I'm likely to go backwards rather than forwards. So I aspire to a higher standard now. And I think I got that from I kind of knew that about you anyway, from your posts. And I just thought, oh my God, this guy's amazing. He's like really famous. He's a really famous coach. Sorry. So I was actually really surprised whenever you said, let's have a chat. And I thought, oh God, okay. You want to have a chat with me? And it was that in reality, that's what happened. And then I realized, actually, hold on a second, this guy's he's not just this great person, he's actually a really good guy. And that's what really captured me and brought me onto this journey, really.
Love it. Thanks, Donna. It's lovely. Because obviously one of the things that we coach on, obviously, is about getting you into high performance, right?
Yes.
And a lot of what dictates high performance is habits. What are some old habits that were not serving you in the beginning when we started working together that you've now become firstly aware of and have now maybe stopped doing, that were really blind spots, and now you're aware of them and now you've worked through them?
Oh my God, there's so many. Where do I start? Well, first of all, I didn't have a proper morning routine.
Okay.
And I say a proper morning routine. I had a routine. I got up out of bed, dragged my ass out of bed. My energy was not, I'm like, do I have to go and do this? Getting up, grooming, getting something to eat, and then sitting down in front of the computer and cracking on. Not real. And then actually, no, that's a lie. The first thing I would do is reach over and reach for my phone.
Right.
And then I'd be like, what's everybody else doing? And then I'd feel, oh shit, those guys are doing that. And they're up, that guy's been up early working. And I'm like, oh shit. And I went into a state of fear. Yeah. And it was fear that was actually getting me up out of bed. And I was reacting to fear. And that was causing me a shitload of stress.
Yeah.
And what I learned from working with Miles, and I think this is so fundamental and so basic to any coaching program, which I know I don't see. And I don't know everybody's program, but like you've got this, and you've got this to a T. Miles is about the mindset that we have in the morning can dictate what we're like for the rest of the day. And what I was doing is starting off in a state of fear and responding. So I was reactive. And with working with Miles, the habits that I started to do in the morning were set my glass of water beside my phone. Rather than reaching for my phone, I reach for my glass of water. Nice. Miles give me a really simple thing to do, which I now do with my coaching clients, is see this little thing here? It can be your friend or it can be your foe. To use it as a friend, you've got a diary in there. If you're somebody that is so busy and you forget things, just diarize to drink water. Yeah. So I had that on the hour every hour to start off with, because I thought I'm always going to forget. I'm always going to forget. But in reality, whenever I put it in, it was actually popping up and it was coming into my brain. So I knew, because I know all about neural pathways and building new patterns, etc., blah, 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 blah. After a while, I was naturally getting up and having a drink of water, and I wasn't drinking enough water beforehand. And that was really, not just was it affecting, not was it the case that I wasn't just having enough water, I was replacing something that was negative, but doing something more positive that actually was helping me with more energy. I felt more focused. Rather than eating crisps, what I used to do a lot, we were just talking about this, Miles, I would have my water, and rather than reaching for a packet of crisps, thinking that I'm hungry, I wasn't doing that anymore, because I felt hydrated, and it was a dehydration. I was thinking I was hungry when I wasn't hungry, I was just dehydrated. Yeah. And it's just like really simple things like that has really made a massive difference.
Brilliant, love that. Let's talk about relationships. Obviously, one of the things that we do a lot of work on is ensuring that we have the right habits to make sure that we're present and have great relationships with the people that are most important to us. Because if, after all, we're out there, whether those of you that are watching, whether you're in a career, whether you're in a business, growing, pursuing goals in the Western world, the fast-paced West that we live in, what's it all for, right? If it's compromising our presence at home. How has the coaching enhanced, amplified, improved your personal relationship?
Oh gosh, this has been a big area of improvement, because I was kind of in that stress mode quite a lot, and I realized that I was doing it quite a lot through my profession, but I used to be a solicitor. I hung up my boots. I'm no longer a solicitor. Yay! So I it's basically because I am less stressed. My husband's less stressed.
Yeah.
Because actually my husband went on a coaching call with Miles and came off and said, that guy's brilliant. I said, brilliant, sign yourself up. He's like, I will. But my husband hasn't quite learned the benefits of coaching as much as I have. So it'll take him time. But like even coming off after one call, my husband was right, let's do more exercise together. Let's walk together. Let's spend more time. Let's have a date night together. Miles gave me some amazing tips through lockdown. Oh my gosh, guys, listen to this. So we were meant to be
all my secrets. No, I'm joking.
No. Me and my husband were meant to go to New Orleans for our wedding anniversary. And obviously we didn't get it. That was back in May. So I was like moaning to Miles saying, we're trying to do this thing and have a date night. And Miles gave me a brilliant idea. He said, why don't you put YouTube on in the background and play some like of the music that they play in New Orleans? And we've done that. And then we turned that into like a weekly event. And then now we have a date night. But now because we can go out now on a Wednesday, which is our date night, we went out last night and had some nice healthy food. That's turned into a really great space in the week for me and him to really calibrate where he is, what's going on for him, where I may have pissed him off, and we can actually sit and talk through it logically without feeling attacked or feeling it's just really nice. The actual temperament between us has improved because we're both I'm feisty Irish woman and he's feisty. He's got Scots background. So anyway, so we're both quite vocal. But what I think the real benefit is through me being coached is that I've created that space for the relationship, and he knows why that we're doing that, because obviously he knows I'm a coach and he's spoken to Miles himself, and I can see that he has benefited from it as well. Yeah. So like I know Miles, you in terms of the work that you do, I think you can even empower women to empower their men to get out of their fucking heads.
Yeah. Donna, probably last sort of question I've got. It's been a real pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
What would you say to anyone who is either on the fence about having a coach, who has never had a coach before, doesn't even know if they need coaching, but maybe has fears, doubts, worries, thoughts in their mind that they don't fully understand? What would you say to somebody who's watching right now, who's like that, who is considering enough to watch this live, but hasn't yet taken the plunge and invested in some form of coaching? What would you say to that person?
Just do it. If there's a reason in your head as to why you're thinking that you might need a coach, there's something going on already. And the question I would ask you to ask yourself is, what is the impact if I don't get this handled?
Yes.
What will my life look like? And not just for you, for everybody around you and anything you touch. Really sit down and have a real consideration about, if I don't get this handled. Now, some people don't know what it is, what it is they need to get handled, because I think sometimes we can get really, really confused and don't have that clarity. But I would say from even just to arrange that first call. And I tell you, within that first call with Miles, you will get a lot more clarity than you had before you lifted the phone. And then once you know that, then make your decision from there.
Yeah.
That would be my advice.
Cool. Donna McGrath, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Miles Grant, it's been an absolute pleasure back.
Thank you for being here. Don't move the Hoover. I want to see you doing your videos with the Hoover in the background.
Yeah, I think I might have to give it a name. So if anybody's got any suggestions.
But you can't call it Henry because for branding reasons. You can't call it Henry. Dyson might be happy if you call it Henry.
Henry.
Thanks, Donna.
Okay, well, thanks, everybody.
Have a great evening.